but I got caught in the cycle of addiction. So that's what we deal with. And I've got it like a box, so people are stuck in this kind of box, well they were stuck in that box, and they couldn't, there was no way out. So people come to us through the criminal justice system, through treatment providers and rehab centres, and I've got the thing about, you know, the peer-led support, about people that have been there helping people out, because that's what works. So we've got a Clarity House Detox, which is over in Solihull, which is a 28-day residential detox, so they can come through there and get supported through that. We are looking at setting one up in Birmingham as well. We've got Recovery Academy, which is upstairs, which is abstinence-based community rehab programme, which is for 8 weeks. So people live in our properties, in our second stage properties, get 24-hour support, and then they come to the centre every day, 9 till 5. But they don't have to be Changes residents, they can be anyone in the recovery community, as long as they're abstinent, they have to test abstinent. And then they move into our third stage, where we link them in with volunteering, training, education and support. So what we do while they're in the Recovery Academy, we explore with them about what they want to do. Because there was a tendency before about everyone that come into recovery would be support workers or counsellors or you know, like working in the drug and alcohol field, which is okay for people that want to do that. But like, there's a lot of people that just don't want to do that, and they didn't have much choice, like because of their CRB checks and stuff, that they couldn't access to get into, you know, meaningful employment. So my dream is about creating something like outside of that, you know, because some people in recovery shouldn't be support workers, they should be nowhere near them. But the biggest weapon against addiction is a recovery community. I mean, that's my experience, and that's our experience here, is about making recovery visible, that people can be part of something and develop and have hope and inspiring, you know, and inspiration and people cheering them on. And that's what the recovery community do. I'm not going to list all of them, but like, there's loads of ways that people do get access and feel connected. If someone goes and hugs a tree and it makes their life better, I'll bless that tree, do you know what I mean? And I'll help them plant some more trees in case they help someone else. It don't matter how they get there, but getting there is the main thing. And that's what we're aiming for, independence, so people living free in housing, employment, family, relationships, prospects and hopes. And a lot of people, like I say, want to help people through. So that's where we've got the recovery training centre, so we do peer mentoring and recovery coaching upstairs as well, which you'll see on the tour. And those people are the ones that want to help people through this process. So like a lot of our staff, 80% of our staff are people who are in long-term recovery. And they're not staff because they're in recovery, they're staff because they are brilliant at what they do and they're qualified to do it as well. So I was saying earlier, what about people who don't want to do that? So that's where we come about the idea about how can we create a space so people can develop the skills in whatever they want to do. And that's what Recovery Central is about. And you know, a lot of people are talking about, this is a building, it is nice, it's lovely, any building changes built this. So if anyone's looking for any builders, building changes do a good job, have a look around. But it is just a building. But what happens in here is what is the magic. Not happening just here today, but what's going to happen in the future, about giving people hope that they can live a life of purpose and meaning. So the ideas about Recovery Central is to create a space where people can develop the skills, qualifications, work experience and employment of their choice. So when they're telling us about when they was a kid, that their uncle really inspired them and that's what they want to do, we want to create the space and the opportunity for them to develop in that area, you know, and set up volunteer placements and accredited training so that they can do that and set steps. The other thing is about providing high quality, reliable and affordable products and services to the community. So the community can be buying services from us, not as like well-meaning amateurs, please come buy for us, like we'll be a lot cheaper than ever, we'll be half price because we're having a go. We're professionals in our own right, we'll be charging what we should be charging, but the money will be, you know, going back into the community. But also after a while of them buying the services, that they'll realise that they're in recovery, and they'll think they're alright, they're not in recovery, because they are. Do you know what I mean? They're like, you know, on the west coast of America, in California, people are lying and saying they're in recovery when they're not, because then they'll get shortlisted and they'll get a second interview. You know what I mean? Because they've reduced stigma, and that's what I'm really keen to do, is reduce stigma and make recovery attractive and visible. So the last thing is sustainable revenue stream, because we can be looking where funding and running round about hat out in front of us, thinking where's the funding, do you know what I mean? But the only thing with that is we could water down what we do, and I don't want to do that. I want to stick to what I believe in, I want to stick to what works, and the only way of doing that is by generating our own revenue stream through our businesses so that we don't have to move away from what we're good at. But there's loads of other services that are needed, but that ain't what we do. This is what we do recovery, abstinence-based recovery. So upstairs we've got a social enterprise suite, so at the moment we've got 4 social enterprises. which is my next thing. This is where my passion is developing new social enterprises, developing people in recovery to set up their own social enterprises. Because when I set up mine, I didn't get loads of support. I didn't have a desk, given to me, policies and procedures I didn't have a clue about. So we give them a desk, we set their policies, procedures, help them their constitution, help them get little starter bids and stuff like that so they can get on their feet. Recovery Central Business Incubation. So people want to set up their own businesses, we help them set up, and that's where we're looking for sponsors as well to be able to help us to do that. Is to be able to set up, so we're looking at a print shop, and we've already spoken to the gadget show next door, and they love us, so they said as soon as you get a print shop, you can do all our lanyards, pop-ups, banners, flyers, whatever. So that's the idea, so that we're going to set up businesses that are like, we're going to market and make sure they're sustainable for people in recovery. Then when it's bigger than the business incubator, the room, they can take it out into the community, either as their own social enterprise, and they give us 25% of the profit back in to support and build up the next one, or they take it out as our social enterprise. So if there's loads of interest from other people coming through, we'll keep it as our social enterprise and then support that going on. So I've got to flick through these, because that building changes, which they've done the job here. So anyone wants to be a plumber, electrician, roofer, carpenter, blah blah blah, they can do that so they get the accredited skills. We've got Changes Gardening, all these are next door, so you can have a chat with them. We've got Small Changes charity shop selling children's clothing in Solihull, and next door in 6 weeks, I'll just skip to, I think, yeah, next door in 6 weeks, we've got Changes Coffee, which is going to be opening. That's a model that we can replicate. Honestly, we've got it in the middle of 4 schools. It's absolutely packed. They love it. The community love it. We've got a volunteer at the back there. Karen's our manager, so you can speak to Karen after as well. And Petworth Drums. So we've got Matt, who sponsored us. He's our first sponsor, because we don't want to just own this. We want the community to own it. We want people out there to be part of this, and that's where we're looking for sponsorship. And Matt very kindly offered to sponsor not just one of the rooms, but sponsor the recording studio. So he's invested loads of money and time into the recording studio. And as soon as that's been open, it has been packed. We had one of our board members jamming in there yesterday with our service users. But the thing is, people really do recover through expressing themselves, music, arts, drama. Not just about sitting down one-to-ones, groups. It's about kind of having something that they can enjoy as well. Friends Kitchen, which is launching to the community on Monday, and you've experienced a bit of that. There's going to be lunch after. An Active Change, which is coming soon. There's a place behind us, and it's been a bit resistant. You don't want to rent it to us, but I'm working on that. So that's what Recovery Central is, and I suppose what can you do? What can you do for us? So take the opportunity while you're here. How can you help us move forward? And one thing is to promote our social enterprises and services that are available. If there's opportunities that actually Changes could do that. One of their social enterprise could do that. And the social enterprise we're developing, keep an eye on our social media and stuff and see what's happening. If there's opportunities that you can support us or even put people our way that they can buy our services, then we'd really appreciate that, and it will help us develop. Help us change people's perceptions about recovery. That's a big thing for me. That's what lights my fire, and it's about reducing stigma and making recovery not only visible but attractive. Like, who wouldn't want to be in recovery? Why would you want to be stuck on a script when all this is going on? When people are achieving what they're achieving here, like, people are an asset to our community, so we want to give hope and reduce stigma that recovery isn't a bad, addiction isn't a bad thing. You're not a bad person, you're just someone who's sick, who needs support and help. So we need to help us do that. And also, like I said earlier, sponsor a project. If you know any corporates or any businesses that want to buy in, like we've got our holistic therapy room and our group room and our drama room, that you can have your name on the door and you sponsor, you pay for the overheads of that room and you help sponsor that as well, so you have buy-in as well, and that's what we're looking for, and that will help us to be able to not to be dependent on grants and funding. And that's what we do. We help people to just be productive members of our community, not stigmatised, because people in recovery can achieve and be an asset to our communities, reducing stigma and making recovery attractive. And I just want to say the appreciation row. It's great what's happening there. Do you know what I mean? I have to pinch myself and think, how did this happen? But this happened because people believed in me from the beginning. Because there was times that I went to commissioners and I said, I've got this great idea, and they laughed me out the office. It weren't something that they wanted. There's other times when I've gone to people and and they didn't believe in what I did, but there were certain people who always encouraged me and supported me and said, you can do it.